My name is Dr. Goreshnik, and today I will try to explain to you what is the cell, because very hard even for a medical person to understand the cellular function. So we will start from the nature. The nature gave us 12 organs, because 12 months in a year we have and 12 organs in the body. We have 365 days in a year, and we have 365 vessels in the body. We have 4 extremities in the body, and we have 4 seasons in the nature. The head is round and the earth is round. We are a part of the nature. But what modern medicine did, it divided these 12 organs between 12 specialists. The head went to psychiatrist, the lungs were to respiratologist, the heart went to cardiologist, the stomach to gastrologist, the skin to dermatologist. And if it's not enough to divide the body for organs, we divided the body on the systems. All the nervous system went to neurologist, and all the hormonal system went to endocrinologist, and so on. So when a person gets sick and gets in a situation that he has to treat something, he gets to a specialist who treats, for example, his liver. He treats with one medication, with another medication, and every medication has eventually a side effect, because we are not designed to process so much chemicals through our body. So when the person gets a complication in the kidneys, what usually happens when you treat the liver, so the doctor says, simple, it's not my department, sorry, I cannot help you. You have to now meet with another specialist who is a kidney specialist, and you get to urologist to fix the problem what created by gastrologist. So there is no way out. If you, I'm an old doctor. I did for 50 years medicine as a medical doctor. 50 years ago I graduated from medical school, and 35 out of 50 years I treat people homeopathically with natural medicine, and the results are much better than I would treat them with medications, because we don't have side effects and we don't have any negative effects of medication. The medicine became very complicated for people. And it is why today I take my time to explain to you how everybody of you can take care and can improve their health with by himself. Because there is just to have a knowledge. There are not incurable conditions or diseases. There is just lack of knowledge. And before every medication, we use education. And today is the day of education. So what is a point to treat an organ or a system if underneath of everything is a cell? From this cell starts the health. So the cells have their life. Every cell is breathing, eating, eliminating, reproducing, and dying, exactly as the human. So imagine yourself, we are trillions of cells covered with one skin. So this is the whole body. But if we go down to our beginning, it will be a cell who is living exactly the same life as you live. The cell has a double membrane. So the cell has 2 layers of skin, both of them made out of fat. And this fat is very thick from the outside and very thin from inside, because it's a water-soluble fat from inside and fat what is not soluble from the outside. In between them, between 2 layers, will be protein. Okay, so the cell is very thick, and it has to have a round appearance, like to look round. Because if the cell is not round and cell losing this membrane, the cell starts to be with a typical shape and divides on 2 or 4 and becomes a cancer because it starts to divide and grow. So the cell has to be round. And to be round, you have to be like a pickle in a salty water. So it keeps the shape, right? So the cell is swimming in saline. Saline, it is 0.9% of salt in the water. And this saline preserves the cell from outside. And you know that when found salt is very important because salt has electrical charge. So saline, it is replacement of our blood. And from 1700 we started to know, we knew that without salt we cannot preserve anything. Without salt, everything will be rotten. So when people understood that salt is a part of our life, that our sweat is salty, our urine is salty, our blood is salty, our saliva is salty, we have salt in our body. If you take saline from the hospitals, all hospitals will be closed and no one operation will be performed because saline has to be as a first thing to help. First thing when you come to the hospital, doesn't matter with what you come. You have infusion of saline. This salt and water does not get in the cell because the cell keeps the cell closed with the membrane. And in the cell, we have genetics in the middle, and around it is a little factory called mitochondria. Mitochondria, it is where we take the nutrients, chemicals, nutrients, and convert them to electricity. So the cell actually is electrical. It has a vibration of electricity. And this way, it connects to the other cell by vibrating. So the cell needs a signal. And who will give a signal to its inside, if not the salty water? So the salty water diluted, reduced to the concentration of salt to this point that the pores of the membrane is open and let it in. It is reduction of salt, reduced oxidative molecule. It is a redox signaling molecule was born, just given a name to the molecules of salt what are capable to pass the membrane and to be here in the cell. And imagine yourself if the cell is closed for everything, cell does not let nothing in. It's letting in only a redox signaling solution. So what happens when the salt, diluted salt comes and knocks the door to the cell? Open, please. And the cell recognizes and it opens, and this redox signaling molecule what come to the salt, to the cell inside, says, I have friends with me, all the nutrients, minerals, and vitamins, and this moment they get in the cell. So the molecule, what is done from the saline, actually, salt and water, diluted, gets to the cell with bringing all the nutrients inside. And now the cell is alive, and the cell produces electricity, energy, in other words, and the cell can communicate with other cell. And when they communicate, they make a signal. And the signal, the immune system is like our radar. It gets the signal and says, oh, good, there is a good signal. Those cells are safe, there is everything okay. And now the immune system does not hear so well the signal. There is not enough redox signaling molecule. And this immune system says, I have to fix there, I have to go. But the worst part, where the immune system does not hear the signal at all, because the cell, what is sick cell, it's covered by a phlegm, inflamed. And the immune system cannot catch it. And it's a cancer cell. What it divides inside and starts to spread, and the immune system doesn't see it. And another thing, when it is not enough those molecules to make good cells, a lot of cells start to die out because of lacking it, and they are half alive cells. And the immune system doesn't know where first to go to fix the cells, because from everywhere it comes a not complete signal. And what immune system does? It starts to fight you. It starts to fight the healthy tissue. Why? Because we get autoimmune response. The immune system is not for us anymore, it's against us. So the redox signaling molecule, it is a very important thing to keep the cell healthy. And when we have a problem with the cells, when we get older, and when we get older, we get more cells dying off, and we cannot rebuild them back. So if we take this extra as a supplement, redox signaling molecule can actually retard the aging. We can stop it. We cannot stop it complete, but we can make it a little bit slower to come. And when a person has any condition or disease, it will be improvement, what he even it cannot explain, but in many ways the improvement comes when the person doesn't even know, oh, I started to sleep better, I started to feel better, my anxiety is less, and so on, like little things that were not recognized before. When the cell is breathing oxygen, the cell is eating nutrients what come with redox signaling molecule together, it brings nutrient to the system, and the cell is eliminating the toxicity. And eliminating the toxicity has another part of the signal, because it can get in the cell, and it can come out from the cell. And nothing can bring out the toxicity from the cell if not this redox signaling molecule.